2016 is coming to an end, and with December now upon us, we have the 11th and final humble original title for the year, Yojimbrawl by Free Lives. Yojimbrawl is a simple shared screen multiplayer fighting game that very obviously prioritizes tight multiplayer gameplay over everything else. The game boots into a title screen with a prompt to press any button, then directly to a character select screen. There's no tutorial, no single player, and no options. It's a game that wants to get you straight into the action as quickly as possible. And after a few rounds, it's clear why this game wants to minimize the amount of time you spend waiting around. Yojimbrawl is a multiplayer fighting game that creates a sense of tension unlike most other shared screen competitive games. When you start a gameplay session, there's very little downtime involved. You get a few seconds respite between rounds after you score a kill, and a few more seconds when 5 kills have been made. But then it drops you right back into the next stage and continues this cycle until a winner emerges. Endurance becomes as equally important as quick reflexes. The gameplay itself also adds a lot to this sense of tension. The game is played in a 2D platforming arena where the goal is to reduce your opponent's health to 0 by either hitting them enough times or knocking them off the screen. Your only tools to do so are a sword, a very short range gun, and the ability to jump and dash around. The hits feel heavy, but also require a significant amount of frame commitment, meaning button mashing can lead to an easy counterattack by a skilled opponent. On the flip side of this, skilled players can use combos and juggles to deadly effect, which feels super satisfying to pull off. The gameplay is simple yet solid, and the controls are very responsive. However, my main issue with the game is that it all feels very familiar. Yojimbrawl really feels like the moveset of 2013's Samurai Gun mixed with the methodical fighting of 2014's Nidhogg, two of the best shared screen competitive games I've ever played. The result is a product that's quite fun to play, but doesn't really feel very interesting or exciting. This feeling is somewhat compounded by the game's visual and audio stylings. The game uses a chunky pixel art aesthetic, which isn't too dissimilar to the games I mentioned before. However, the levels do have a really great art direction that uses colour and pixel art imagery quite nicely. Also, some of the effects in-game look pretty good, such as the effects of two swords striking each other to create a very impactful screen-filling flash that gives a nice sense of power to the action. The audio can also occasionally produce a similar sense of power with some strong sound design. However, the music doesn't really stand out too much and mostly goes ignored. As a game, I like Yojimbrawl quite a lot. It's rather simple and there really isn't much that made my friends and I want to play for more than a few rounds at a time, but the gameplay is good and the tension generated from a full multiplayer session is quite unique. However, as a humble original title, Yojimbrawl is a bit disappointing. There really isn't anything weird or experimental on offer, which I personally think is a key aspect that goes into making a great humble original title. Here's hoping for more craziness in 2017.